Get your hands on your head right now.
Got a warrant for that?
This is my warrant.
Volatile season, correct?
Yeah. This year we tried to put our people in the action. A lot of the CSI action involves post-crime. They'll arrive at a scene, determine, the evidence and who did it. They arrive after the fact. This season we tried to put our people into the mix, put them in danger, put them in harm's way a little more often. We had Natalia in a rolling van. We had Togo drowning in a bathtub. So we try to be a step ahead and put our characters in harm's way. That way, it's a little more visceral for the rest of the episode because everybody's trying to wrap their brain around what just happened to them and process it personally.
This wasn't a beating. It was a stoning.
It's archaic.
Downright biblical.
You're kind of in uncharted territory being on the air for this long, so just making sure that you're fresh storylines, new faces on screen, and new looks and locations.
It went by fast. It went by really fast. I mean, we're in the last few weeks now, so it's like the end of school. You're anxious for the summer to come, and every day sort of seems a little longer than you want it to. But the season, the whole season went by really fast, actually.
Tell me where she is.
What?
Tell me where she is!
No, I wasn't gonna hurt her, I promise.
I think we upped the stakes a lot. This season, it's become less static. There's a lot more action. There's a lot more us in the field. Things are unfolding on a second-to-second basis as opposed to us trying to figure out what has happened in the past. You're sort of in the present with us, solving the crime, and it's evolving and changing. We're sort of running after the suspects sort of in real time as opposed to just sort of surmising what happened.
Drop the bags. Drop the bags.
Well, there has been a lot more action. And I think the reason for that is, too, probably the producers sat back and thought, let's spice this up a little bit. And obviously, people love action. This style of show, the style of CSI Miami, it lends itself to action when we want to. So people aren't going to watch action on the show and go, now, hold on a minute. There's no way they're going to do that action like that.
Best thing about the 9th season for CSI Miami is that there's just more running, jumping, playing, tackling, shooting. There's just so much more action, I think, this season.
Going for a morning run, Javier?
We changed a lot of things this season. I think the direction of the show was a lot more action-driven, a lot more intense. It's starting from the word go. I mean, from the first episode of this season, it was on.
He's going, MDPD! Stop right now!
Yeah, I did a lot of running this year. Got into some foot chases, I guess would be the theme for the season, the old foot race. And I got to participate in a bunch of those. It wasn't so bad, actually. It was good. It was good exercise.
Season 9, for me, has been a lot of running. Never before has an actor run this much on a TV show, which is nice because you don't have to memorize as many lines. I've run after every person, and usually they hire a very fast, much younger actor who's in good shape. So I've run a lot. It's been a season of running.
You're an idiot. I almost made it.
It's been a season where we've gotten back to kind of the roots of what sort of separated CSI Miami from the original, which is a more action-oriented, explosions, gunshots, grittier, less about sort of solving the crime with just the use of science and more sort of cop-oriented stuff.
I'm bleeding here. I want a hospital.
There's always been the clear-cut heroes and the clear-cut bad guys. And I think that this year, sometimes in life there's a gray area, and sometimes the good guys have to be slightly bad to get the information that they need, to get the bad guy that they need to get. And so it's been a little bit more exciting to have a touch of the vigilante, I think.
Oh! Oh, God! Okay!
Sometimes we use, non-conventional methods to get the bad guy. And it's great because it has another layer. It adds another layer for the audience to think about, another dimension and moral compass and cause for all of these guys. Makes us all more human, I think. I actually had conversations with David Caruso, offset about it. And it just meant that we wanted to be fine-tuned and sharp. And we want to step our game up.
If I'm going to be treated like this, I'm going to want to talk to a lawyer.
Fair enough.
Might take him a while to get here.
Oh, wait.
So will I.
Even the way our interrogations were filmed, it was an edgier kind of, by the seat of your pants kind of thing. You know, Sam Hill, our in-house director, gave birth to a more vital movement of the camera, and I think we, as an audience, we entered those interrogations with a sense of danger.
And did you kill her? No, but I'm relieved she's dead.
Overall, it was an opportunity to sort of relaunch the show visually in a slightly different way, or sort of watch ourselves evolve. And I think that was one of the things Anne was excited about for season 9, was to say, hey, let's allow ourselves the opportunity to progress visually, to start to change things and evolve in that way. So I think for the most part, the overarching idea of season 9 is this alteration in the visual aspect of the show. I would describe the new visual aspect as having more bite, let's say. The camera work itself is a little edgier, a little, what I like to refer to as being destabilized, more handheld work. Our tendency now to try and work more people into scenes as opposed to just being, you know, person A and person B in an exchange, to add a third or a fourth character, sometimes a fifth or sixth character. So it creates more of this dynamic, and it lends itself to this sort of photographic style where you're handing things off from one thing to another to one person.
You want to go undercover?
I think that's a good idea. Nice going.
Again, this is part of the brilliance of Anne Donahue. If you just sit back at any point in the lifespan of any show, that's when you start to become flat and static. And this was an opportunity, again, on a show that's been so long and it's been such a visual show, that here is the time and the place to see if we could keep, you know, expanding and pushing the limits of what that is.
I'm done, you'll all be dead. Every last one of you.
Somebody is gonna die, but it's not gonna be us. Take him downstairs, Frank. Throw his ass in solitary.
It was a darker, edgier Horatio Caine. We're starting right away in the premiere when all of our CSIs were at risk, and it was a very personal case to chase down, you know, the perpetrator.
Oh, Keith, listen to me. When someone lies to me, it really, really hurts my feelings.
We're always looking for a personal story for Horatio Caine. You know, David Caruso likes to play the story beneath the dialogue. There's always something beneath what he's saying, an inner turmoil, an inner feeling.
So what happens now?
You move on.
How?
By doing what you do best, Logan. Keep fighting.
You're in the hospital. You're being very well taken care of. My name is Callie.
Emily, first of all, it's amazing personally to watch Emily go through this wonderful transformation. She has a beautiful daughter. And she was a part of every episode. It's just that she was pregnant. And I think as a production, you feel a sense of responsibility. We're not going to jeopardize any part of this experience for her, so we were really sort of creating a sanctuary for her to do the work, but to be safe and not have to exert herself.
There's a camera on us.
Hey everybody, I'm Emily. I play Callie. I hope you know that since it's the 9th season of CSI Miami. So every year we do these DVD interviews and an interviewer asks questions. But this year, because I have a tiny baby in my trailer and I'm hurrying, I'm gonna ask myself the questions. How would you describe the 9th season on CSI Miami? I was hardly ever here. Now that you've been on the show for a while, what would you say about the team relationship? Why does it all still work? Because we love each other. What happened with Callie this season and what exactly is going on with her and Delco? Your guess is as good as mine. My thought is that perhaps Delco got mad at Callie because Emily Proctor had a baby with someone who wasn't Adam Rodriguez.
I'm gonna go have dinner with a friend.
Friend, huh? Trying to have a life outside of this place?
I'm trying.
You know, running into people in the street. I mean, everybody always wants, what's ever gonna happen with you and Callie? And, and I really don't have a good answer because I have no idea. The only thing I know now is it's definitely on ice and has been for pretty much this season anyway.
You know I love you like family.
I know. That's what we are, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Hi.
Oh.
Oh, thank you.
That's all right. Hey, a little bit of romance was introduced for Ryan Wolf this season, in season 9. There had been a little romance before with a TV reporter. So we're not sure what the state of the relationship is. This season, I started to get an actual romantic interest, which was nice. They brought in a new character, played by Levin Rambin, and there's a little bit of romantic chemistry. You know, he's sort of mixing work with pleasure.
I get off work at 7.
Pick you up then.
Molly and Ryan had their moments. It's at the flirtation level, so a long way to go. We're not sure, you know, where it goes.
If you don't shut up, I'll make you shut up.
Trip's been in the middle of some action this year. It's been good. I've been in 2 major shootouts, which has been a blast. One shootout, Delco and I, we get trapped in this big, huge apartment suite, and these guys have AK-47s. Action! We just got our 9mm, you know, but the shootout seemed like it lasted for 2 weeks. It was so much fun.
And he's having a phenomenal year. And he's been part of the sort of the darker turn too. He's on the plane that crashes. He's taking this chase personally for this guy. He's injured.
And then it was a scene with just Trip, and he walks in a warehouse, and right about that time they start firing at me. And we have this huge shootout for a long time. And at the end of the shootout, I just thought, golly, I'm getting paid for this. This is so much fun. Load up a fake 9mm, shoot bad guys, and then go home, you know, and get paid for it. So that was good. I had a blast doing that.
What took you so long?
Ow, it hurt.
You lied to us.
About what?
The girl who got beaten to death today just happened to paralyze your sister. I'd say that's motive enough.
There was a little bit of an availability issue with Callie's character by the end of towards the middle of the season. And Eva just stepped up and filled the void. Not so much by grand design, she just really became a compelling character this season.
Please be vigilant, be smart, and stay safe. Oh my gosh, this season I have chased down drug addicts, I have been zip-tied to the bottom of a van, I have been kidnapped by a serial killer. It's been an interesting season for Natalia. She's been out and about a bit this season.
That was, again, just one of those things that happened organically. Eva is a wonderful actress. She brings such a presence to the screen, and she just really stepped up. She just really, you know, jumped off the screen this year. She really did.
In talking with CBS about where we'd wanted to go with it as a Sunday night show, we wanted to make it a little more family-oriented, a tighter-knit group, no backstabbing within the ranks, and bring up some humor. Thankfully, Walter and Ryan provide that.
As much as it kills me to agree with Walter, we can't move on the wife. All she did was pay Elena to cast a spell.
No matter how grim the situation, it's fun to be able to inject a scenario that you know they're going to play with some wit. It breaks up the heavy moments, and there's plenty of them in the series, so you have to pick your spots, and they play them really well.
Me and Wolf, we've always had a nice banter about us, and in real life, he's a really, really funny guy, so we get to go back and forth. Sometimes we improvise some things.
Do I look like a serial killer?
Starting the way we did with all of our CSIs down, it is a really personal quest for certainly Horatio and Delco. And in a way, it kind of takes on a life of its own.
I thought it was a good episode to get us off and running, that it was a high action, a high paced show, and it really kept the show fresh.
We lost Jesse in the first episode right off the bat.
That was a tough one to weather because, you know, he and I came on around the same time on the show. And so for his character to die, especially in that way, it was tough. I was really appreciative to Ann Donahue and the writers for letting me kind of deal with the catharsis for the show, for him checking out and moving on.
Man, I'm gonna miss you. It brought Adam Rodriguez's character, Eric Dalco, back on the show. And so we were able to sort of rekindle that friendship. And at this point, 8 seasons in, where there had been a lot of bickering and sort of there had been a lot of tension, at this point, those two characters get along a lot better. They've sort of found a synchronicity with one another.
We're guys that are all on the same team. So I think that it made us closer, and it also, you know, I ended up patching up any wounds that I had with Delco. And now all of us, we're one big crime-fighting unit.
this is a really, really vital case. Find out who tried to take our team out. And in a way, the season kind of followed suit with that.
They're coming right towards you.
Who is?
The inmates.
Episode 3 kind of set the table for the entire season. We had a prison break where a number of fugitives escape. So we knew we were going to spend the entire season catching them. We knew to some extent there was going to be a manhunt in several of these episodes. And so not only were we in a situation where we had to create stories where the forensics leads us to a suspect in a murder investigation, we have to find forensics that help us find an escaped convict who's on the run, and we have no idea where they went.
The prison break storyline was interesting because usually we're a show that we resolve in one episode. And the fact that we were chasing somebody the whole time, it wasn't a lot of forensic work, it was more of a cat and mouse game. It was a little different for us. A lot more locations, a lot more time out on the streets, but definitely a lot of fun.
All right, let the manhunt begin.
Season 9 brought us episode 4, Manhunt. The first episode ever where we didn't have a single scene in the lab. When you're out that much, it's expensive, it's hard to pull off, you're at the mercy of the weather conditions and whatnot. So, hats off to everybody to make that chase come alive and not lean on what we have become used to with this franchise, is the lab work.
That episode was a blast to shoot because there was so much energy. I mean, we were always on the run.
It was really probably, I thought, one of our best written scripts. I thought Mark Doobie did a great job on the script, and David was very much invested in the script. So was Adam, so it was great.
Tex Gilroy, serial rapist in custody.
The key there was Memo, real centerpiece of season 9. He's the murderer of Marisol, Horatio's wife and Delco's sister. And the first incarnation of that saw Memo loose, having broken out of prison on a horrific crime spree. Just really visceral. It just cut you by the throat, that story.
Can I help you?
Memo, it basically scratches an old wound. It's Marisol, and Marisol's back in his mind, and it's always fun for David to play the memory of her, and it makes the scenes richer, more vibrant.
Yeah, Mage. If it's the last thing we do.
I think they really mixed it up this year. It was good. We had a lot of Memo, who's my favorite guest star. I just think he is awesomely scary and unpredictable. And, the relationship that he has with the rest of the team is great because he's our resident bad guy.
Let him go, Memo.
Their climactic scene was when they were in the middle of the street and Memo's daughter was right there. Delco wanted to shoot him, and he couldn't pull the trigger because he wouldn't do it in front of the daughter, which was the polar opposite of what Memo did to his sister. And it was just a good moment.
Dealing with Memo was a personal thing, for sure. Obviously there's the history there with him being the person that killed my sister and Horatio's wife, and so that was good to, exact revenge on him finally and get a chance for that character to come in and out, remind the audience who he was and, what a bad guy he was, and get a chance to bring him to justice.
It was never personal, Kane.
It was to me.
We're at a place in the show where we've built enough history over 9 seasons now to harken back to some of the standout bad guys, sort of the all-stars of the bad guys. We had Joe LeBrock come back this season as well in the jailbreak episode, and he's one of my favorite bad guys, actually. So we have enough history to go ahead and bring back some of these bad guys that people remember.
Bring it on.
Personally, the episode I enjoyed shooting the most, that I was the most fascinated by, was the roller derby episode. It was so much fun to go there. First of all, those girls really are part of this roller derby, and they're totally into it. And they're like amazing athletes. That was one of the only days I stayed after I was done with work and just watched them do roller derby. It was so much fun. The energy that they had was so infectious. I wanted to put on roller skates and just roller skate. I can't even stand up on the roller skates.
Well, in the roller derby, that was a very fun episode to shoot. There is a place out here in Los Angeles that actually is functional, and we were able to shoot there. They provided us with the skaters, and so everything really just fell into place on that one.
They were great. They were in a bunch of scenes, the roller derby girls, and they were terrific actresses, and they really were game for it, and it was fun. And it was funny, and it was definitely a unique experience.
That's not professional. Not bad.
I think my favorite episode this year was the episode where I got drugged. It ended up being the Halloween episode for us. It aired on Halloween because it was creepier than usual. It was shot differently than usual. It had a different feel to it.
Sleepless in Miami was an interesting script. There was so many moving parts in it, and the biggest challenge was whether we could actually pull it off. What you saw was actually a scaled-down version of what the original script was. But that was a lot of fun for the crew and the production design department to come up with the different sets. Sam Hill did a phenomenal job directing it and bringing interesting parts to the story that he wanted to get through.
I lost more sleep on that one trying to figure out how are we going to do this well. But it turned out to be my favorite of this year. Very challenging, but really interesting and different for us, and fun and great performances from the cast. I mean, they just hit it out of the park.
I love the opportunity to just really get gritty and freaked out by this drug that evidently is a real drug, and it's akin to a zombie drug. People hallucinate on it and completely go bats on it. Nick?
Eva is really fun to work with in that kind of environment and everything that she went through, and I thought it was great. That was a really fun one.
Do you hear me?
Natasha!
I thought the episode actually, after the 200th, the 201 episode, about the millionaire matchmaking service, I thought that one was great, because that one rang very true to me. It seemed like something that could really happen. I read something the other day that was incredible about how there's more slaves in the world right now than there have ever been at any other time in history.
I consider it my mission to help people find happiness.
For a price, arrest this son of a bitch.
And sexual slavery is very real. And that's what the stuff that we were dealing with in that episode, people doing things involuntarily, but they don't fight enough, one could say, you know, and I think that's a very tricky line, you know, and so that was really interesting for me.
That's a great thing about going into season 10. We're not sure about a lot of these situations, but that's where the spontaneity and the creation comes in.
I had a good time on all of them this year. You know, it was nice to be back with the same crew after having had some time off last year.
I didn't have a relationship, a love interest, so I described it as disappointing in my book. Other than that, it's been a great season.
I think the season's been great. We had a variety of topics, everything from roller derby to voodoo to people being hunted. It was a very big, reaching season. And I think that for a show of this caliber and that's been on for this long, to try to take a chance and grow and stretch, it's really admirable. So I'm glad to be a part of that.
Now that we're at the end of the 9th season, I do feel like we accomplished what we set out to do. What ended up happening was that they didn't reinvent the wheel, but they certainly spiced it up. And we made this year really exciting to watch, I think. And that was exciting for us, and it infused everything. The actors, the writers, the producers. I think everybody got excited about this season.
Are we good, Sam?
Great. At this point, it's kind of the sky's the limit. So it is kind of exciting to open every episode and see what new, exciting, crazy thing have they cooked up this week, because they have to constantly keep pushing the envelope. You can't do the same thing over and over again. So I'm excited for next year to see what happens. Maybe there'll be more running. Maybe they'll give me a pair of roller skates and I'll be roller skating after people every episode. I don't know.
The aspiration at the beginning of every year is to tell a good story as well. Hopefully we did that and kept people entertained and add to the library and legacy of CSI Miami.